SEP Fanfic Readings presents Finding Hermione by ebookdragon. Just a heads up, this chapter is pretty much all sex and will be heavily edited for YouTube. Chapter 46, Appreciation, January 17th. Hermione patted Draco on the chest and stepped out of his hold. Draco watched as she crossed the study to stand in front of their desk. She turned to face him, looking stern, and Draco wondered what happened to warrant such a change in her mood. Hermione leaned her hip against the desk and crossed her arms over her chest. "Mr. Malfoy," Hermione said to him in a commanding voice, "my assistant tells me that you have a proposal I simply must hear." Draco stood looking at her. His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. What did she want from him? Surely she wasn't demanding a marriage proposal. Hermione arched an eyebrow at him. He caught the faintest quirk of her mouth before she spoke again. "Mr. Malfoy, I don't have all day to stand here watching you gape like a fish. I have many Wizengamot matters to attend to, and I only granted you this meeting because my assistant assured me that it would be worth my time." Draco's jaw snapped shut as he finally caught on to Hermione's game. He grinned roguishly at her from across the study and locked the doors with a flick of his wand. "Yes, Miss Granger," he said with an aristocratic drawl. "I have a proposition for you that I believe we may both find mutually beneficial." Hermione straightened and walked toward him, meeting him halfway. "Mr. Malfoy, did you know that I have been waiting for such an occurrence since I became a Wizengamot Council member?" Draco arched an eyebrow at her. "And what exactly have you been waiting for, Miss Granger?" "The opportunity to make you beg, Mr. Malfoy," Hermione stated. Hermione started to circle him, like a lioness hunting her prey. Draco stood up straighter and smoothed down the lapels of his jacket. "You are mistaken, Miss Granger. A Malfoy never begs," Draco said with pretend stiffness, though other parts of his anatomy were becoming noticeably stiffer with Hermione's commanding tone. Hermione stopped circling and looked challengingly up at him. "We'll see about that. What exactly are you proposing, Mr. Malfoy?" She questioned him sharply. "An alliance, Miss Granger," Draco suggested with haughty stiffness. "An alliance," Hermione said breathlessly. Draco looked down at her. She seemed a bit overwhelmed and was breaking character. Hopefully she didn't think that this was the way that he would propose to her. "Yes, Miss Granger, an alliance. You are new to your position within the Wizengamot. I can provide you with the funds and social connections to fuel the no doubt endless projects you have in mind," Draco said, resuming his aristocratic drawl. Hermione took a deep breath and stiffened her shoulders. She resumed the role of the stern Wizengamot Council member. "And how exactly would you benefit from this alliance, Mr. Malfoy?" Good girl, Draco thought. This was only a game they were playing. He had to think about how he was really going to propose, though. Hermione looked at him like she was expecting an answer, and he shoved thoughts of his real proposal aside. "The Malfoys would benefit from tying our name to your many good works," Draco made up on the spot. It wasn't something that Malfoys in the past would suggest, and knowing this, Hermione arched an eyebrow at him. Draco broke character for a moment and just shrugged at her. It was only a game, after all. "As interesting as your proposal is, Mr. Malfoy, I'm afraid I'm going to need more convincing," Hermione said, walking away from him and moving to sit on the sofa. She looked expectantly over the back of the sofa at him. Draco moved to sit on the couch near her. He took her hand in his. "Miss Granger, how can I convince you of my seriousness of my offer?" Draco asked. "I'm sure that such a powerful and handsome man such as yourself can find a way to convince me of the ardor of your proposal," Hermione said suggestively. Finally, Draco thought. They were getting to the fun part of the game. Draco slid off the couch and kneeled before Hermione. She arched an eyebrow at him. "I thought Malfoys didn't beg, Mr. Malfoy." Draco took Hermione's stilettoed foot in his hands. She slid the shoe off and massaged her foot. Hermione's head dropped back, and she hummed in appreciation. "This isn't begging, Miss Granger," Draco said huskily. He slid the other shoe off and gave her other foot the same treatment. "This is appreciation for all the hard work that you do." Hermione hummed again. "I like your method of showing appreciation." Draco's hands moved up to her calf. "We Malfoys know how to show appreciation to those that help them." Draco switched to massaging her other calf. Hermione opened her legs a little for him. "I cannot wait to see how else a Malfoy shows his appreciation." "I have a feeling we're going to work very well together, Mr. Malfoy," Hermione said. Hermione shifted so that she was lying across the length of the sofa. Draco got onto the sofa and knelt between her legs. He drew her legs up, and she wrapped them around his waist. Draco propped himself up on his elbows over Hermione, and he stroked her cheek with his thumb. "You're the most amazing witch I've ever met," Draco told her in admiration. Tears glistened in Hermione's eyes. She brought up her hand to his cheek and mirrored his hold on her. "I can't believe how lucky I am to have you in my life," she told him, her voice husky with emotion. "Always and forever," Draco told her. "Make love to me, Draco." Draco leaned down and kissed her. "As my lady wishes."